Famua said he also for someone and so Bible ever Ghana ha Adadia formula Jemua only a doctors only a nurse I very say
Senya me a Yamano, Yapon, quite a Yamano, Yanyan, and Yamayan.
And said she Kusma, say a man, I'm sorry, say the benefits and Sunday, and Sunday, yes, other way.
Here today to mourn the departure of Dr. Sheikh Osman Bawa Hafiz from his fleeting existence and from our company. In my mind, this gathering is also to celebrate on one hand the illustrious life of our brother as a gift of Allah to humanity. On the other hand, his return to Allah in accordance with the Quran, وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. But before we talk about this, we have our Sheikh Abdul Razak and we have our Sheikh Suleiman. We have Doctor's brother. They are the very people that are supposed to talk about Sheikh Usman Orlando, but with their support, I'm selected to talk about it. Thank you so much. Until his death, Sheikh Usman Orlando Bawa Hafiz was the chairperson of the Islamic Education Unit Council. Also, Ashanti region as Islamic legal consultant and founding father and chief executive officer of Muslims Executive Foundation. For a period of 20 years, Dr. Sheikh Usman Orlando Bawa Hafiz was secretary to Majlis, the Supreme Council for Islamic Teaching and Research. In these capacities, his services were exemplary. From my interaction as the Ashanti Regional Islamic Education Unit Manager with him, I found in him humanity, a servant leader, focus and discipline. His intelligence tells in his scholarly achievements he had a life well lived by all standards. Dr. Sheikh Usman Orlando Bawa Hafiz passed at age 63, survived by 6 children. He was a native of Baku. He was, however, born and raised in Old Capo, Kumasi. Dr. Sheikh Usman Bawa Hafiz was a product of Northwestern Christian University, Florida, in the United States of America, from where he obtained his BA Business Administration in 2008. 3 years later, he got his MA in Human Resource Management. In 2016, he made his PhD in Human Resource Management in Northwestern Christian University. Dr. Sheikh Usman Orlando Bawa Hafiz was also a student of Medina University, Saudi Arabia, from 1979 to 1987. He studied for Bachelor of Arts in Arabic and Islamic Studies at Medina University. He had his middle school education at Old Tapo Middle School, graduating in 1975. Dr. Sheikh Usman Orlando Bawa Hafiz started his education quite early in life. At age 4, he was a student at Azariya Islamic School for Islamic and Arabic Studies and at Old Tapo Methodist School for his primary education. The working life of our late father is one characterized by hard work, diligence, tenacity, and above all, Allah consciousness. Between 1992 to 2021, our late brother was a staff at Ehmiyan Institute of Education, Islamic Education. In 1995, he joined Higher Institute of Islamic Studies, Airport Roundabout, Kumasi, where he taught until his call to Allah. He also taught at Azariya Sanawi Islamic at Tapo. As an Islamic scholar and an imam, The call to Islam was one of his priorities. He had heard tafsir of Riyadh al-Salihin, tafsir of Al-Quran, the dawn time, and halakas at Al-Haji Ismail's Mosque Tabu, then Masjid al-Nasr and Rex Mosque, and some of the mosques his tafsir program took him to. His tafsir also took him to the United States of America. Dr. Sheikh Usman Orlando Bawa Hafiz has had khutbah prayers at 4 Garazin Mosque, Kumasi Sudaline, Afranto Central Mosque, Masjid al-Sahaba Enya, Markaz al-Islami Tafu, and Masjid al-Nasr Tafu.
Community to develop, it can never happen without sound education. And when we talk of education, education is just not a matter of having to read books and memorize them and that's it. Sound education is all about materializing and practicalizing the knowledge that we learn. But before this materializing or the practicalizing of knowledge comes to existence, they have to come with leadership, with sound mindset towards the upliftment and the development of the community through education, and therefore they have to support education. And for this matter, we have our elders, the Nananum, our scholars and Muslim scholars in particular, having this edifice as we sit in today, not for any reason and not just for soliciting or as a business venture, but just to inculcate knowledge. And knowledge, as we are informed in Islam, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. I believe my scholars might have said all those. I don't think I have to go through in detail, but just to recap on some of the points, that seeking knowledge is incumbent on every person, Muslim, male or female. Any nation that develops because of knowledge. And knowledge is one thing that when you seek it, you will get, inshallah. When you seek and chase for money, there is a 50-50 probability, as we call it in statistics. You may get and you may not get. And how many people have actually gone into search for money, and how many have had it, and how many have even become rich and millionaires in the world. But when we look at people who seek knowledge, sooner or later, a time will come and you will seek, you will get the knowledge. I would want to delve into a particular story when it comes to the difficulty in seeking knowledge. Seeking knowledge is not something that is on the silver platter. It comes with its own challenge. There was a scholar who went to study and he got so tired and very difficult situation in studying. Years and years passed by, he cannot graduate. So he decided he was to leave. He left. As he was walking, he came to find a particular place that he wants to rest. And he noticed something very, very interesting among the ants. That they carry something trying to move from one place to the other. As they move, what the particle they carry is so heavy. So they topple and all of them will fall. And they keep trying. They will topple. And he was sitting watching. So they tried and tried and tried until one point the ants were able to carry the particle to another level. And he got the advice that indeed he has to be patient. And in the verses that I have read just now, there is a point about patience. And there is no way we seek knowledge except with patience. Our scholars, our elders who put this edifice here, there are challenges they have gone through. But with patience, they were able to make it. And patience is the pillar. And when we deal with each other, we have to deal with patience. When we have issues among ourselves, Allah mentions the word of patience. Allah says in the Quran, in the verses I have read, that Goodness will never be equal to evil. Pay out goodness with evil. Pay out evil with goodness. وَلَتَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَةُ وَالسَّيِّئَةُ ادْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, which is to pay evil with goodness. But Allah Himself reminded us that it's not just easy. He says, وَلَا يَلْقَاهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. No one can do it except those who have patience. And Allah gave also the next requirement. He says, وَمَا يَلْقَاهَا إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ, except those who have strong minds and materializing patience. As we sit here today, it is my prayer that for all those who have contributed in making this edifice to be as it is today, from the time it was an idea until now that it has been materialized, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless the director, the proprietor, and all the donors, and all the communities, the Nananum who supported this edifice, and Allah bless all of them. And for the intention and the reason for which this has been put in place, may Allah make us benefit from it, and make the community benefit, and the nation and the world at large. And a sound of advice for myself and the students who are here. We're all students and we are still seeking knowledge, because we're supposed to seek knowledge from cradle to grave. And therefore, there is no point to say we have graduated and therefore we are done. We're supposed to delve into seeking knowledge at all times, and we should also remember, the very day you think you are knowledgeable, that's the same day you become ignorant. For indeed, a knowledgeable person always remembers that he is still a student of knowledge and he is still studying. In knowledge, there are certain requirements, and among them is what we are reminded by our scholars of being steadfast with our ibadah, our worship. And in being steadfast with our worship, let us remember the share of one of our scholars. He says, شكوت إلى وكيع سوى حفظي فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي وقال بأن العلم نور ونور الله لا يهدي إلى عاصي. My scholars, I think I can be corrected. Sheikh Tayyib, am I right? Can I move on? He says, I have doubts, I have challenges in my memory. Whenever I try to memorize, I have some challenges in my memory. And he went to his scholar, Waqi', and complained that this is a challenge I'm facing. And his scholar advised him that you should stop, committing sins. In other words, protect your religion, protect your deen, protect your iman. We know that the iman, or what we call the faith, increases with obedience to Allah and decreases with disobedience to Allah. So if you really want a sound knowledge, that's the first point of call. We have to be steadfast towards the faith or the iman that we have, the taqwa. We know as humans we are bound to make mistakes, but we are also reminded in the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كل بني آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. All the sons of Adam are bound to make mistakes, but the best among those who make mistakes are those who realize and they take action to make correction. And as students of knowledge, we may fall into mistakes, but if we want to have sound memory and sound knowledge, let us observe that. Number two, as students of knowledge, and all of us who are here, we have to remember, obeying our parents is something that leads us in our lives to have blessings and to have barakah. And there is no a person in this world who has become a greater person or has become somebody except that when you look into his life, you realize that he's someone who obeys the parents. And if you should remember, even the scholars will tell us that Fir'aun, or what we call Pharaoh, Pharaoh has been one of the most disobedient to God in history. I don't think anyone can challenge him in our time.
Amen.
Really, this whole activity is a very good activity for us, and it's a blessing for Muslims. And we all initiated all this, and we came here, cut the sword for this. We want to get an educational complex, a very powerful one for Muslim community, so that we can achieve our aim in this era. So that's the main purpose of this. Yeah. Really, that is a right thing. That is what we want to do. It's not only about the Islamic issue aspect, it's a secular educational complex. You get that. The name is only Hidayah Islamic Education, but it is not that. It is a secular. So we are admitting both any sector, Islam, Christian, and any other people. And it is a secular education that we have brought it here so that we achieve something. There is. You know, Muslim community, in most cases, when you see our schools, they are not well furnished. We are deprived. You get that. So we sat together and think about that. Muslims also deserve a very quality education, a very quality structure, so that we get very good education to try to train Muslim community, Muslim Ummah, so that they go higher in education to achieve, to get the doctors, the nurses, the engineers, and what have you. So that's why we brought this edifice here, so that we inculcate that knowledge to our Muslim youth and we achieve that purpose. It's not necessarily because of education. You know, Islamic education, all education is education. We start education from home, from our parents. We start education in our schools. The main problem is about the community where we find ourselves, not necessarily education. Sometimes you get those who are educated, but they don't get the guidance. That is the challenge. But God willing, whenever we are able to get good education, all those social vices and all those bad names that we are associating it to Islamic people, to Muslims, you see that all this thing will vanish and we will get very good environment and very good community to live in, inshallah. Advice of Muslim youth, now they have gotten their own. They are thinking of going very far for education and other. No, we have brought the education here at their doorstep. We are inviting all the Muslim community, all the Muslim children, the parents, to come and patronize so that they get quality education to be able to solve almost all our problems with regard to social vices and all the bad names that we are getting. Thank you. You are welcome. Yeah, I'm Yusuf Mohammed, the Islamic Education Unit Manager, Ashanti Region. Yusuf Mohammed, Islamic Education Unit Manager, Ashanti Region.
This activity is very necessary to serve as one of the key things that we do to develop the community, the society, and the country at large. And when you look at currently in the world, we have what we call the United Nations SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals in the world. And education is key as one of them. And in this edifice here, we are here to inaugurate one of the modern or ultra-modern schools here in Ashanti region to serve for us to educate the community, to educate the youth in particular. Without education, we see quite a number of them going into activities and nefarious activities, you know, gangsterism and all those things that are not appropriate for the societal development. So this particular program today is one of the memorable, I will say, occasions you can have in this particular
community in Kumasi, where we inaugurate this school, and we hope that this school is going to be one of the, as a pipeline to get some of the youth to be well educated and to move into the hierarchy in the nation as well as in the diaspora, and be among the development agents that we actually have been talking about all this world that we want to see. So this is the reason why we are here today for this particular program, and we hope that as it has started, in the name of God, we're also going to make sure we materialize all the things that the Nananum and all the Muslim scholars have said, so that we can have holistic individuals or holistic students or scholars of tomorrow who will lead the nation and the world at large. The school serves as the pipeline to get some of these challenges in the society to be solved. And as we are here with this particular school, is going to shape the behavior and the attitudes of the youth. There is a saying that Satan works with the idle hand or the idle mind. And with this school now, the school itself per se as an edifice is just a structure. But we know that with this structure, there comes qualified scholars, and there comes students with objective, and there comes our leadership in the community to make sure the school is put into good use and to good practice. And we have that hope. Looking at the Nananum and the leadership in Kumasi, most scholars that we know that they are, renowned Muslim scholars or renowned even secular scholars in the Muslim community, you find them here, almost all of them, and that is amazing. And that tells you that the edifice is one, but we also behind it we have the intellectuals that will make sure the school will develop, and that is our hope. And we are all around as stakeholders to make sure this materializes, so that we can also do our part in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and even the society, the goals or the objectives of citizenry in this country, to make sure the school develops and the nation also develops. The full name is Professor Nail Muhammad Kamil, a professor in KNUST School of Business in Kumasi.
The say, Mutayana Esimenim, Uchapa, Yazongo communities, Yakachiri dodo. And Wafa Nimdia Wasama, Yakachiri, Yamfa Nimdia and Yamanim dia and serious. Ya na Yamanunya priorities. Na you focus on different things. And so, woman so amo esua nimdie no. Woman adwemfo enni nimdie papa more than one obia esua. Enti na eba ma adwem say debi. Esa yeso nimdie ayekosua ewo Jordan, ewo Saudi, ewo hene ha ayekosua nimdie no. Esa yeso ye modernize nimdie no ye nkola ane na no na ye nkola amo bo ekire no. Na ye mo mu sua nimdie papa na mo sua nimdie amu ko enimu. Na womu ene womu colleagues womu nyenkem for ene womu enye pepe efa nimdie ho efa different aspect computer efa secular education efa Islamic bibia esa yeso ye de ma yama yankwala na womu so enya sa nimdie no enti eno na wo botaya edre makoma so a metimi nto anamo etimi sisa school se na be ya enya school so enya yankwala nkremfo nko na internet school no yesima obia betima ba besu ade wom oye kremoni o wonya kremoni o the human the nipa na nkasa na yepese ye develop we just develop a human being sana be adache oboye penim papa na ne nimde no so na wosu no ebe ya ade papa ama wono ankasa na wotimi asom ne my Ghana no so odimi asom ne mantem a wotem na aye ade papa mbira embe kra hwehwe emse we na ye botaya wo makoma so a ema me tu anomo esi sa sukuu we uto no nya eni nimdi awofon de bibia no ho a ese awofon no ema no ye product ese nimdi bibia wo bama wo ba a enye nimde no foso bia eni kire wo pa ti abon san bo sika san foto ho ma se wuwu a ho ma endi awojapade enkofo papa bia emma wo ma no but wo jai nimdi e de ma wo ma anyo ne be kreti bibia asumdie sika abrabo bibia e ba ma wo ma enti mitsra wo fo no se nimdie ena ese wo ma wo enim wo invest more in education education no ara either Arabic or other English, either secular. So what me can mean so bom so a wadachi no future na be bright. Essence say obo so bako no nko a. Enti me sra wo fam say omo ma no enko school, omo nsuo nimdie pa enko chire. Mo nye say akola no okosu ade no na wa say wajai say oba na awofo no ankasa so e na e ha nkola no dachi. E no mo ankasa so na e ha nkola no nimdie. Ena magazine esa akola eko kasuwa esa akola eko dwom ne nyina eha nkola no adisua nti esa wo no emman nkola no enye nimdie no adisua no adaje na omo support nkola no na omo animdie na omo bepa no na entimi enya papa entimi kraba hwe Sheikh Muhammad Abubakar Masaid no do no efreme Malam Sani Mola Sani do no efreme Medin ede Sheikh Muhammad Abubakar Masaid ana Musaid do no efreme Malam Sani Mola Sani do no efreme now what's say me dey say media me na me see here.